Start! Hi, everybody. We've started. This is our B2B Marketing Leaders live stream about 2026 trends. So glad to see you all. Please share your questions in the comments and share where are you based, where are you from. So it will be always interesting and insightful to learn because we have a very international audience for all of our events, all of our live streams. So the session organizer is the ModumUp agency. It's an innovative B2B marketing and social selling agency. We work for 7 years, even more, and work with different, mostly tech companies, but not only. And today, what to expect today? We'll have 3 sessions, very insightful sessions about different B2B marketing trends. First one will be mine about community-led GTM in the age of AI. And then Dina Habib Amara from Intel will share a very insightful presentation about using buyer intent and data-driven strategies for marketing in 2026. And then Sanjay, I'm so sorry. Yeah. It's interesting that this part of presentation is closed for me, so I'll need to open it on the other screen. I'm so sorry. Sanjay Kindambi, Senior Director, Product Marketing at Infor. Sanjay will share B2B product marketing trends and 5 unavoidable trends that will force your strategy pivot. So it will be exciting, and we'll have different trends, different angles, and we'll see how what kind of insights we'll get today. So my presentation is going to be first community-led GTM and ABM in the AI age. So communities, it will be an interesting topic, but first of all, I will introduce myself. I'm Olga Bondareva. I'm the founder of ModumUp agency, and I already told you about the agency. So I'm based in Austin, in Texas, and if you're in Texas as well, I'm saying you double hi. And I'm also an organizer of B2B Marketing Leaders community and podcast. And I used to work for Microsoft, and there I was responsible for social media in 33 countries. So in the AI era, what the main problem we have is the trust is broken. Everything looks the same. Websites, ads, decks, LinkedIn posts, everything is AI generated, and it's difficult to understand what kind of website is trustworthy, what kind of presentation is expert, and what kind of is not. So, and B2B buyers, they also face the similar issues, I would say trust issues, because it's very hard to evaluate products, vendors, agencies, partners. It's difficult to understand who is good, who is expert, and who is not because of this AI generated world. So, and what to do? And when everything is so automated, templated, AI generated, people trust people. They trust humans most. And how B2B buyers make decisions. They look for some peer recommendations. They discuss some suppliers, partners, and so on, tools in private conversations. And of course, they also discuss it in some trusted professional communities. That's why I'm talking about communities today. And actually, Forrester and some other respectful analytical agencies, they also say that, yes, communities are a huge trend, and B2B buyers, they discuss questions in the communities, they seek for recommendations, and it helps them to make decisions. And yes, communities are a trust engine, that's for sure. And why they work? I'm sure you know that. Of course, communities, you are probably part of some communities. Actually, please share in the comments what kind of communities you are part of. Maybe I need to join, or someone who watches us needs to join these communities. You can recommend some valuable and interesting communities to others. So, and communities give you the access to real people, real world experience, some discussions, real practical discussions. And if it's a normal, healthy community, there is no sales pressure there. And also community allows you to do some peer validation, to get some honest feedback. And of course, you can build your reputation in the community and build trust over time. So communities, it's not a new trend. We are talking about 2026 trends today, but they are not new. But with all of this AI activities and changes on the market, I think we can redefine the communities. And in 2026, they become one of the most important GTM and ABM channels. So why? Let's talk about what kind of community types there are on the market. And of course, there are much more, but I've defined two types of communities. First one is product-led communities. Oh, I'm sure you know many of them. I know that there are some great examples of Lovable, Notion, Slack, and some other communities, and even their organizers and their members help organize some hackathons in different cities all around the world. So it's a huge scale, and it's a great GTM channel. And you can get strong feedback from your audience, and they will understand your product better. And of course, it's a lot of information and a lot of value for businesses. But it's for the later funnel stage, for people who already know your product, who's loyal, or maybe is becoming loyal to your product or service. And there are some other, the second type of communities, professional communities, where professionals in one, for example, industry or field, they unite and they share some knowledge, some value, best practices, case studies, failures as well, because it's even more important. They discuss vendors, tools, strategies, and these communities, I think that they can be a great tool for account-based marketing. They can be a great account-based marketing engine. So let's discuss it deeply. So first of all, I would say that, of course, you can be active in someone else's community, and it's easier probably than to build your own. But let's talk about why it's important probably to also to build your own community for business. So what does it mean? Your own community. It's a long-term GTM asset because you'll kind of collect, invite your audience to the community, and you can build relationships with them. And that's why, because of building relationships, this is a trust layer around your brand. And of course, your own community, if you are building it for a long time, especially if your audience is very loyal, it's a strategic advantage that your competitors, they can't copy overnight. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to do so. And if your community is huge and scalable, it can even increase a company capitalization. And how to do it? Actually, first, usually if we are talking about communities as an account-based marketing mechanism, so we'll start with building your target account list. So you, of course, many brands already have their target account lists. So you can just open it and look at it. Then identify the key people inside those companies, or maybe people of some specific job positions, and then invite them into a professional community. It's important. There are some principles: no selling, no pitching, and only valuable and interaction and peer connection. So it's very important that it feels safe for the audience. So you don't sell anything to them, and you just invite people to the community to give them value and give them space so they could exchange some value with each other, talk to each other, and build their networks. So it's for them, not for you. You are building a platform for them. And then, of course, inside the community, it's important to maintain some regular engagement. Let's talk about that as well. What kind of engagement? But before that, I wanted to also to explain why it works. I believe that now, especially on the market, you can see, you can feel what is happening on the market. It's crisis, it's many layoffs, so a lot of uncertainty. And because of that, leaders from different companies, they are looking for strong networks. And even those who were skeptical about communities before. They thought that I don't have time for all of this stuff. They become interested in peer support, peer networking, because they understand that this is how they can be more safe in their professional fields and just add a little bit of stability in this crazy market. So what to do? What to do inside your community when you created it, when you invited people? Actually, we usually invite people on LinkedIn because it's one of the most effective channels. And what to do? First of all, monthly activities, online or in-person meetings on some expert topics. It's important because, of course, people want to meet. So they would like to share some valuable experience with each other. One-on-one networking between participants. It's important to build a platform so people could network with each other, not with you as an organizer, but with each other. So this is the most valuable thing, one of the most valuable, I believe, in community. So some weekly activities, of course, polls, questions, curated content, so all of this stuff. It helps your chat, your community be more active, and also it doesn't work without one-to-one engagement with organizers. So as organizers, we send private messages. We remind about everything. We send follow-ups, because especially when it's a professional community for high level people from interesting companies on high positions. In this case, of course, they are very, very busy, and you are competing with so many different communities, different events, and other activities, and even with their day-to-day work. So why should they prioritize your community? And one of the most effective things here is one-on-one engagement with organizers, when we have a conversation with everybody in private messages and we remind about everything. So it's simple, but it's important. And I would like to share a case study of our communities, B2B Marketing Leaders. So a year and a half ago, we organized a community, B2B Marketing Leaders. It's a professional community for, of course, you probably understand that it's for B2B marketers. And it's a professional community, free to join and invite only. And here we already invited many bright and interesting marketers from different companies, and it's always interesting to learn about them, and they share a lot of questions and some of their experience, so it's always exciting. And we've launched actually 2 communities, not one, by the same brand. And first one we launched a year and a half ago, and it's a global Telegram-based community, and it has more than 200 members. And it's very active. People ask questions, they share some valuable materials. So they attend meetings, community meetups. It's very active, and it showed positive ROI of more than 500% already. And I'll tell you more about how it works and how we achieved that. And the second one, the US focused community on Slack. And this community is just starting. We launched it in January. It has 80 members for now, and it's just starting. We are members are getting to know each other. We are just starting the first activities, and our first meetup will be in February. So it's early to say about the results, but we'll see. And how communities convert without selling. We don't sell anything to our participants. We just build a valuable community for them. And how this works. So we as organizers, we are always with them. We help them. We share some useful materials and insights. We support them. We create value. We sometimes speak at meetups, but we never make ourselves a center of a meetup. We are just, for example, I can be just one of the speaker. We can have 5 speakers, for example, and we are never a center, but we are always here. We are always helpful. We are positive, and they know what we do, and we don't sell anything. And this is how we build trust, just naturally, because we are just here, and we build relationships. We help people. We bring them value. And when they are ready, they just come to us inbound. So we don't do anything for that. They just come to us. And we've attracted uh, several clients from the first community, very interesting clients from cloud infrastructure, logistics industry, AI platform, telecommunications, and they are great and exciting clients. So this is how it works without selling. And I would like to compare community-led GTM and traditional GTM here. So in traditional GTM, business focuses mostly on short-term campaigns, and on community-led GTM, it's more about long-term relationships, because when you build a community, you can test these hypotheses for at least 6 months. Because, for example, first deals started closing after 6 months of building our own community. But I believe that it can be even longer period, because it takes time. Trust takes time. And traditional GTM, it has quite high customer acquisition costs. And in community, of course, it also can be high, because you are attracting the same audience. But when you are attracting them to a community, it will be lower, because it's more attractive for people to join a community. They see the value in it, comparing to, for example, some ads, or they're joining some sales related activities. So, and traditional GTM usually shows lower trust, but of course it depends on the mechanics, because there are a lot of lead nurturing approaches there. So they also build trust over time. And in community-led GTM, of course, you're just getting some organic trust. And traditional GTM, mostly you're getting mostly outbound leads from your activities. And in community, there are some inbound demand, and people are very they are ready to have a conversation. They are very loyal to you, and they would be glad to work with you. And it's great to have a community. But of course, for a successful GTM and marketing efforts, you definitely need both approaches. It's important. That's why today we are not stopping with the community trend. We are continuing, and we'll have some more B2B marketing trends, not only that one. And I've already shared something about my agency, so I'll just jump to my contact here. So here is a QR code to my LinkedIn profile. I would be glad to connect with you. So please send me connection requests. I would be happy to connect. And also, if you have some questions or comments, you can post them in the comments, or you can send them to me by email if you'd like, because I'm always check emails and I can answer all of your questions. So before we jump to the next speaker, I will check whether we have some questions from the audience or not, and then we'll jump to the next one. While I'm checking, I've prepared a surprise for you. Before, I'm so sorry. Yeah, a surprise for you. It's a social selling trends guide, so you can just check these QR codes and get the guide. So I'm checking the questions. Let's check. So I can see that. Hello from Austin, Evelina. Hi, Evelina. Okay, Chris from Russia, and she moved to Serbia. From Jeff from Chicago, Esa from Finland. Hi, everybody. Great. Stephanie from the Bay Area. From Lindsay from Detroit. Trina from the UK. So many people. So thank you for commenting. Yeah, if you have any questions, please share. And also, I can see the comment about fractional united community. Yeah, Evelina shared the community she likes. Fractional united community, great networking tips, and establishing your bench of experts. Thank you, Evelina, for your recommendation. That's amazing. Thank you. So let's jump to the next presentation. I'll add the next speaker to the stage, and then we will add the presentation as well. So Dina Habib Omara, the Global Partner Marketing Executive at Intel. And it's an exciting topic about buyer intent. It's a huge trend, about data-driven strategies for B2B marketing for 2026. So, Dina, I'm very impressed with your expertise and with your deep and analytical approach when you're always looking for data, for some statistics, for additional confirmation of some trends. So, and it's just very exciting that you came to our webinar. So glad to see you here. And
Right.
yeah, and
Great, there it is. Awesome. Olga, thank you. And thank you, ModumUp, for hosting us. This is very exciting. Again, winning before your market moves. This is going to be the continued big trends that we are seeing. I will be spending first, kudos to Canva on the AI template I use, but this is going to be really PowerPoint heavy, a lot of snapshots, a lot of material you'll be able to get out of very meaty slides. So let me do this and just give you a little bit about me, and I'm going to be talking quickly and really diving in. So I am a global marketing leader, partner marketing leader, and go-to-market strategist. I am an industry advisor as well. Reason I am here so we can all collaborate as industry colleagues and learn from one another. My LinkedIn profile is there as well. Please feel free to link in with me. I'm happy to do side meetings and review things with you as well. So, and also have been with ISVs. I've been with the hyperscalers directly with Microsoft is where I'm at now. I'm in transition from Intel into Microsoft as a partner business strategy leader in the industry sales solution team. So a lot happening on my end as well, and used to work at SAP, award winner and visionary leader award from CMA. Thank you, CMA. So here are the three topics I'd love to dive in with you today. One, what are those top go-to-market questions we're seeing worldwide across business to business go-to-market strategy leaders and marketing leaders? Then what are those movements that you need to make and to win before your market moves? And then your key takeaways. So the first thing I wanted to do is kind of categorize and really reflect on the gap of what's really happening in the industry right now. These are 2025 and 26 statistics, Forrester and Gartner research. From the buyer perspective, it's amazing to see the behavioral shifts that are taking place, especially with AI. The buying teams are selected. The vendor is before even speaking to sales, 81%. 63% B2B buyers are creating vendor shortlists based solely on the digital content. Again, all this is without even having talked to a sales rep of any kind. 83% of the buyers are wanting vendors that understand their needs, and they've switched their vendors in the past 12 to 18 months. So loyalty is not really embedded. It's really about the addressing of objectives and needs and fulfilling a true investment in ROI. And then 46% of the buyers did not have a single vendor preference. They've added 3 additional vendors using AI. In fact, I just saw a statistic again from Forrester. 90% of the buyers, this is very important for the shift, are using AI in all of their buying decisions areas. I mean, I can raise my hand and say, I've used AI, I'm creating tables and matrices. Now, how about us? How do we feel we're performing in embracing the buyer? And then I'm going to jump right into some meat. Over 60% of us are reporting difficulty in identifying the appropriate decision makers. And I'm saying makers, plural. 50% report seeing too many false positives. Can we trust the what's in CRM? What is it that's really triggering a valid opportunity that's really going to produce the revenue? And then 80% for every successful go-to-market execution. This blew me away. It's not surprising, actually. It is implying 80% failure, about 4 fail. So this is and this gets to a causal AI go-to-market that we will talk about. But here is the first top question. What replaces the MQL? This has been a big discussion in 2025. And how do we capture and use data to measure the buying group, the network, intent across channels? So let's jump in very quickly about what is the old MQL versus the new. In fact, Forrester last year, April, in Phoenix, Arizona, we were all speaking about modernized go-to-market. And Forrester was calling out the MQL is dead. But what did that mean? What it means is we're going from the old MQL, where there is an individual filling out a form, and you don't know if it's passed to sales. Sales has no confidence in it. It hasn't been qualified. So the next is no real intent is captured. What is their stage? What is it that their interests are, their projects, their needs, their objectives? And then we now move into what is the buying network. So the MQLs are now being converted into and viewed as the revenue unit, which is taking the MQLs and using AI and propensity engines to flag them. How many times have they engaged? What is the trusted platform you're capturing them on? I'll talk about that in a minute more. The kinds of syndicated programs where you're capturing what industry, specific needs, requirements, what are they researching, and then where you intercept and are capturing them. And this is, in fact, opening the doors and expanding the footprint for sales, for the information you need, and how you adjust and pivot and win before the market moves. You're intercepting at very key moments. This is now changing the KPI landscape when it comes to the use of data and what you can be measuring. So take a snapshot of this. This will also be provided from Olga and the team. But these are now the top, what we call causal, the cause and effect go-to-market metrics that are giving the confidence to our leaders when we say, I need X amount of dollars or budget to fulfill my strategy or to execute a campaign or go to an event. Here are some of the program frameworks, but the KPIs that will give that trust and confidence that the investment is going to produce ROI. The next top question we see that's in the trends and the shifts in the market now is, how do I build then a go-to-market engine that captures this buying network and this data and insights and scales with AI without breaking my operating model? Well, the big news here, I think we've all seen it, is your operating model needs to adjust. The biggest thing we can say is avoid silos. No more silos. Really, the connectivity, this best practice construct, is what builds a unified team end to end, brings in your automation with the use of AI, and enables you to be adjustable, to be agile, to be proactive. It starts at the bottom there where you see the foundation. All of your data warehouse, your data estate must come together with security. You can allow the access points to different teams and so forth. You bring the insights into the segments you want to analyze and feed that into your apps, your CRM, your partner management type of tools, etc. And then you're repeatedly going in and out, and including with your agencies, the data from ModumUp and some of the other agencies I will talk about. So this is it looks basic, but this is the best practice construct that you can put together. AI is building on it. It improves the power of all of the stages and elements of activation. This is a busy slide, but I think it's very important to show you what are the types of apps or activations that you would be using with those data insights from what you've put together in that construct. CRM, as I mentioned, not only are you now delivering more confident, trusted inputs into the CRM, you're giving and expanding the knowledge and the footprint to the sales teams who would be using the CRM. And then you can intercept and pivot and pull things and really drive go-to-market actions as a result. Your partner relationship management tool, content management systems, your AEO, answer engine optimization for very efficient searches and capturing that data, social media, the communities, as Olga was talking about, your digital asset management, and then the LDR, your lead development reps or validation team is very crucial as well. So these are the ways in which the data comes in and out of a unified construct. These are key apps here. And then here is actually a model I did with Informa Tech Target, of an agency known for the modernized go-to-market. And we worked closely together to understand how can we drive not only visibility, enable the sales teams and our partner teams, but also drive the proven, use those insights from the buyer network and drive qualified opportunities and then true revenue deliverable. So this is a construct that we put together. As you can see on the upper right-hand side, we have the landing page, and this is just not any landing page. It is a content syndicated network of sources, trusted sources, third-party objective sources, where all of the buying network, what used to be the MQLs, are now a buying network of average 12 to 14 team members making a decision in one company. So as you can see, you have a lot of people doing research coming into analyst sites like the Enterprise Strategy Group is an example, and other landing environments. All of these signals, the engagements are being captured, and that's where you see all of the people in the box. And then that flags when there is a high volume, a high propensity. You have your validation team intercept that and actually call out. This is the proprietary engine and the work that Informa Tech Target team does, where they call them out and say what, the approval for contact name, title, what the industry is. I do have a project coming up in the next 12 months. Yes, please contact me. And it's all in an objective, trusted third-party environment and framework. And that's, again, where the data, our agency in this case, wove that data and those insights into our systems. And then we are able to pick up on those and begin to agilely activate and intercept. It was very, very promising. I can't say the data is due to confidentiality, the results, but we were in the millions in terms of qualified pipeline delivered for our top 6 GSIs in this case. And then for enablement, again, very important, where the training becomes key, demos, the playbooks become key, and this is where we will talk about some interesting uses of AI here shortly. And then this is a snapshot I thought would be helpful for you. What does a modernized go-to-market framework of allocation look like? This is where we all are at globally in terms of how we divest our funds, where we're getting the biggest bang for the buck. When you have a framework like that, this is now the syndicated go-to-market platforms and enablement are by far the key areas of focus. Events are good too, but really ask yourself the business questions as to why you're going to events and how you'll reap that ROI, the actual conversion and sales from that. But again, known partners in the industry, ModumUp, thank you, Olga and Ekaterina and the team, Informa Tech Target, Pipeline 360, Demand Base, Intensify, Crossbeam. These are various companies that can help to put these constructs together or complement a framework you might have. So it's not fragmented, it's end to end, and you're putting together the insights and a modernized go-to-market program. The other piece, I'm being sensitive to time, the other question, what does a modern AI-powered content and enablement engine look like to reach the buyer? So the first thing, and Olga had mentioned this too, customers and sales alike are drowning in content, and there is a lot of skepticism right now in AI-delivered content. So it's actually a paradox when we think about it. So people are getting a lot of information from AI and content, but they don't really trust it. So they are going to third-party trusted analyst sources. And that's now where the pivot happens. You can use AI in these various areas to target persona-driven, industry-driven content, to do your materials, but land it in trusted areas where the buying network trusts where they're getting their material. So that's where you bring the trust together, and you can use AI to be efficient. Sales training and partner training, use email templates, become more industry focused or persona focused with the playbooks for sales, for the value proposition, for the differentiation. And then similarly with the use of your landing pages and how you go in and talk to the different buying network pieces. I won't go through this one in detail. It is about all the goodness and enrichment AI can offer, the efficiency and productivity, but you will always need the human. The human is where your brand, your the true differentiation, your voice really needs to proof and work with AI in being successful. So you are a team. And in 2026, the human element is what is considered to be one of the top differentiators and compete. So what are the 2026 movements to win? AI is now an operating system of go-to-market, not just a tool, using your data and insights from the buying network, the new MQL. Causal go-to-market metrics, winning before your market buyers move. And causal AI, what I want to mention here, is now moving from intuition and just correlation into actual causal discipline, cause and effect. You went to an event and got X number of leads. Now you should be able to say with your data insights, with the use of AI, I have gone number of leads from events, and this created number of closed deals faster. Similarly with a campaign, X number of leads came from the campaign, X times more converted than those from accounts that I didn't target. So that's very key. The go-to-market metrics that we talked about, being human and no silos. That is the biggest shift right now, automation and modern go-to-market marketing plus cross-functional teams. So the key takeaways that I would leave with you is connect all of the data. First and foremost, you must have a uniform connected data platform across your organization. Break the silos, align with your company strategy, ask the right business questions so you're just not piecing a quilt and fragmented pieces together. You're literally looking end to end for the right tools that work with your data and work to meet your company's strategy. Flag the buyer network intent data and reap those investments so you get value out of your go-to-market activations, and communicate and align together internally. You're all one team, be one unified team, and routinely and transparently share results. Talk about how you can shift process. How might sales catch the qualified, validated lead you've just provided them? Or how might marketing shift and pivot when they see a certain flag in the data? So this is all very key, all of the shifts and the questions we're seeing in the marketplace, and truly hope this is helping you in 2026 to sharpen your go-to-market strategies. So that is what I had to present today. Olga, if there are any questions, or I will pass it on to Sanjay.
Thank you so much, Dina. I can see any questions only saying hi to Dina because I know that there are probably some people you worked with
Hello.
together. Yeah. So if someone has questions or comments, please just post them and we'll answer later. Yeah, we'll check for them and answer them later. So thank you so much, Dina. It was very, very insightful. Yeah, thank you. And these trends are really important. So let's introduce the next speaker for today. and I'll add him to the stage as well. Sanjay is an expert in product marketing, and he will deep dive into the topic. And I think that product marketing is very important now because, of course, many companies, they have their own products. They need to position them on the market. They need to sell them on the market. So because that's why we decided to focus separately on product marketing. So thank you, Sanjay, for joining me, and I will add your presentation to the stage as well.
Yeah,
so
are you able to hear me? Welcome.
Yes, I can hear well. How are you doing?
Good. It's always good to do a tech check, huh? You never know.
Yeah, that's great. So it works, and this is a beautiful picture. Yeah, thank you. So please start.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. And, Olga when she reached out to me and we connected, I was really impressed by just how sincere her approach is and the kind of vision she and Ekaterina have for the community that they're building. And so when she, said, hey, can you come and talk as part of this? It was a no-brainer for me to show up and engage with all of you. As I was listening to both Olga and Dina, what's interesting to me is that there are some overlaps of trends that we see with each other, which is, I think, fantastic signal for you, to pay attention to, because these are the ones where you really want to double down. But what's also interesting is that because of where we sit and how we view the world, we all have a slightly different take on how it is. And hopefully that's giving you a certain richness as well. So just here's a bit on me. So you have a good pulse for this. And essentially, look, where I'm coming from, the way I view the world, the B2B world, is from the lens of a product marketing professional who works who's worked in enterprise firms of different sizes, right? And these are all a few $1 billion in revenue or over. So definitely I'm looking at it from the relevance of the trends to these large organizations, but I'm very certain that this will broadly apply to firms of all sizes, as well as to agencies and marketing services firms that are catering to these organizations. All right, with that, let's dive in, and I'll share with you 4 trends. So with the first trend is about the new shape of AI adoption in B2B marketing. What we've seen in the last 2 years is sort of this bottoms-up wave where individual marketers like you and I, we've become power users of generative AI to move faster, right? Whether it's drafting copy, exploring ideas, accelerating analysis. And I don't think this trend is going to reverse. In fact, it will broaden. Even the slower adopting marketing peers of ours will have to level up or be left behind. But what is new for 2026 is this top-down wave. And Dina hit on some of these pieces as well from her perspective. What I see happening is forward-looking enterprises formalizing agentic marketing operations. So what is this? These are structured, governed systems of AI agents orchestrated across marketing channels, content, data, and workflows. My prediction is that as we exit 2026, we will see that the marketing organizations that have leaned into this would have lifted their marketing performance, grown faster, and even won market share in a few cases. So what does success look like? What do you need to know as a B2B marketer about this trend and how it gets executed? There are 3 notable parts to this and getting this top-down initiative done right. The first part, I would say, is about creating a golden record or a data foundation. How do you get this enhanced 360-degree view of each prospect account? And all of this is to get towards much more prospect and customer identification than we've been able to do so far. And it's then about exposing this 360 view to marketing, sales, and service, so everyone's sort of operating from the same truth, but they're applying a different functional lens. And this is going to be key for all the teams in the enterprise because they need to trust the data and the resultant AI-powered outcomes. The second component to this, I would say, is hyper-personalized content creation. So personalized content delivery based on a prospect's firmographics, preferences, behaviors, and intent. And of course, much more efficient content generation. The third interesting part and component to this is going to be what AI is going to do with how customers and prospects interact with the company's digital content. Company websites and all of the related digital journey is going to be reimagined. Think like AI concierge. I think we will see in 2026 a lot of the leading firms deploying AI concierge on the website. And we're not talking about a little chatbot on the side. This is about the primary way to interact for customers to navigate and get their questions answered very quickly. And this AI concierge will also intelligently know when to escalate this to humans. I believe that this menu-based navigation that is so key and central to the company websites that we have today will start to take a secondary role over time. With that, let's move to trend number 2. The emergence of compelling and creative differentiation in AI value proposition. Now, whether you're part of a big or a small firm, whether you're part of a product company or a services organization, this is imperative that you pay attention to this. Because the fact that we have AI, sort of this paradigm that vendors have operated with in the last 2 years, that has become table stakes. In 2026, our buyers will judge us, both product and service vendors, on whether your AI offering actually does better than alternatives. Dimensions like speed, accuracy, security, workflow fit, trust, total cost, or a combination of these ideally, will have to be leveraged for you to differentiate. It will simply not be enough to say, we have an AI-powered offering. And you will see key players in the market starting to put out some really compelling and creative differentiation and marketing around AI value. So what I'm urging us to do as marketers is to be part of that pack of leaders. Take a step back and critically analyze your offering and your marketing around AI. Ask yourself, do my prospects truly understand why they need to choose my firm and not an alternative in this AI era? Let me give you an example. In the ERP space, where I operate today, which I think is a good illustration for much of B2B SaaS, most of the top ERP software providers are perceived by customers and prospects as sort of saying the same thing. We are an AI-powered ERP. And look, we just announced 60 new AI agents to automate your business workflows. At this stage of AI rollout, the opportunity is for marketers to actually guide their cross-functional teams in these B2B companies to step back and evaluate how do you actually create meaningful differentiation, right? Through product or price or a combination of that, along with some compelling storytelling, so customers can actually see what is really different about you versus more of the same. Because B2B offerings are complex by nature, right? And now we've added all of this AI value on top, and it's made it much harder for our prospects to actually discern value and differentiation. And I think we had Olga and Dina hit on this. There's a buying committee in B2B, right? It consists of leaders and users from multiple functions. And so it's extremely hard for any particular user or a buyer persona to know what exists, what functions, and from this growing set of product features that are being launched that adds value to them and their job. So what I would say, especially as marketers, and if you're product marketers within that, you've got the opportunity to now take a lead and work with your product managers and make it a lot easier for your sales to have much focused customer conversations on AI solution value, and how you can sell your firm's unique ability to deliver more precise value based on real-world customer needs. Think about how you can simplify and compress the discovery process with your prospects and set up for some really engaging and prescriptive demos. Look, the ideal state is that between marketing, product, and sales, you create a simple and compelling product offering, storytelling, and a commercial offer that makes it radically easier for your prospects to understand, buy, and use your AI value while your competitors are still busy playing sort of this meaningless numbers game, right? Showing about who's got the most number of AI agents or features. I hope that gives you enough color to go take action. All right, moving on to trend number 3. Now, this trend is still evolving rapidly. So I want us all to be aware of this trend and ensure that we are moving at the right pace with our actions. So if you're a marketing service provider or an agency person on this call, this is your opportunity as well to be a guide and build offerings to help your enterprise customers understand and navigate trend number 3 and 4 successfully. So what's going on today, right? Today, we see buyers using generative AI prompts to explore, to learn, and assist in their decision-making process for purchasing B2B products and services. Information's always been hard, right, in the B2B process. So no wonder our prospects are utilizing generative AI to reduce their cognitive load and to reduce the time it takes for them to shop. One clear implication is that we need to put out more content around buyer selection criteria and how a product performs against those. More content on our product specs, prices, SLAs, and policies so that generative AI can surface them to the prospects. You simply cannot rely on contact sales anymore as a good enough call to action for this type of detailed information. Imagine if you're a procurement leader at a Fortune 500 company and you're asking ChatGPT or Gemini, and that's what they're going to do. Find me 3 ERP platforms that integrate with Salesforce CRM and has a total cost ownership under $150K per year. So the B2B sellers whose digital product information is detailed and optimized for AI are going to improve their chances in this paradigm over those that lag. So if your detailed digital data, your pricing, your specs isn't machine readable, you won't even be shortlisted. If you don't put out the required details, AI will find other sources, or worse, make up data. So what is interesting to me is how this trend is now going to evolve over the next few years. We'll start to see this move very quickly from this idea of buyers using generative AI prompts to reduce research and time to the use of AI buyer agents that will be action-oriented, but in the true sense of the word, right? These agents will also analyze pricing and even negotiate initial terms before a human ever visits our website. We can all debate on how aggressive the forecast from analysts like Gartner or Forrester is on the velocity of this trend, but I think it's starting to get apparent that AI agents will intermediate billions in B2B spend within a few years. And I think these AI buyer agents will drive or augment the vast majority of business decisions in the next few years. The long-term implications of this trend, I believe, are actually what's truly revolutionary. It is going to eventually lead to radical transparency and visibility of vendor information. To me, the winners in this over the long term will be a smaller set of B2B product and service providers who genuinely offer high quality product and service experiences, are transparent, and are publicly recognized by their customers as such. B2B vendors who today hide behind complexity and get by with like savvy salespeople will not even get into the buyer's consideration setup. We're seeing already startups across all the different B2B domains coming to disrupt based on this trend. In fact, we're seeing attempts by startups even to compete in fairly complex B2B SaaS categories like ERP, where it's actually hard for you to rip and replace an incumbent. It's like doing a root canal surgery. But we're seeing that kind of disruption, that kind of startup activity across all of the B2B domains. So this is something that you want to be paying real attention to and making sure you're having a clear focus and you're moving at the right pace to act on this trend and what the implications of this trend are. It's been a long hour for you and a lot of information that's been thrown your way. So I'm going to round this off now with a final trend. And my final trend here is sort of related to trend 3 that I just covered. Look, if you see what's going on in our social media feeds, it's an indicator of things to come, right? To me personally, and I think you'd relate to this, it's starting to get harder to actually judge what is real content versus AI-generated content. And I see our B2B buyers in the coming months dealing with a similar issue. Because today we already have content overload, and I think Olga hit on this, there is distrust among B2B buyers. Now imagine as it becomes a lot easier and faster to produce content using AI, this emotion around content overload and distrust is only going to get a lot worse. And I think that it's going to actually lead buyers and their AI tools to start first scanning vendor-related content to see if there's something they can even trust and is reliable before they start to consume it. I can foresee buyers becoming much more skeptical of polished marketing content. I would in fact go out and say that a polished white paper from a vendor may not even be relevant going forward. Because I think Olga hit on this. There will be a reaction from the buyer's side to the content overload and the difficulty in discerning what is to be trusted. And so I do see buyers in the medium term retreating further into sort of their trusted enclaves, whether it's their digital communities or connecting with their human peers for truth. And I believe that marketing organizations that do the work to show that their content can be trusted and be relied on, and those who invest in fostering digital customer communities and events that bring customers together to share perspectives will see greater marketing success than those who don't. And I think firms like ModumUp that help you do this are, initiatives and providers that you need to be seriously looking at as well if you don't have the capabilities in-house. All right, with that, let me wrap up by saying that these are the 4 trends that, irrespective of the size of the firm you are, I think you should be paying really close attention. And I think this will set you up really well for a fantastic 2026 and beyond. So thanks for the time. Happy to take on any questions.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. It was very insightful, and I love how we all connect our presentation to some transparency and trust topics, because I think it's a huge question right now in the market. And I loved your concept of radical transparency. So I think, it's our future and maybe present time as well. And it was very, very insightful. Thank you so much for your 4 trends. And I'm so happy you joined us and shared your wisdom. So thank you so much. And for the question, let me just check quickly. But I think that before I've checked, we didn't have questions. So if someone has a question, please just post it. and we'll answer after the webinar. And I know that many people will watch a recording. You can also ask your questions and we'll get back to you with the answers. So thank you so much, Sanjay. And we are wrapping up our presentation, and I wanted to also to share a little bit of value with you. So we have a newsletter, LinkedIn newsletter, Social Selling for B2B, and there we are sharing the recordings like this, very valuable live streams and webinars with bright speakers from different companies. And we share some guides, tips and tricks, some case studies. So feel free to subscribe to the newsletter not to miss some interesting content. We are making it valuable for you. So, and I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I know how much your time is valuable, especially right now in this dynamic world. So, and that's why I'm so grateful for you to join us, that you joined us. And just stay tuned. We are planning some next events, next live streams. So I would be glad to invite you at them as well. So have a great the rest of your day and productive week. And goodbye, everybody. We're ending the live stream.